Welcome to Module 11, the BAS Program Maturity Model. In this module, learners move from individual BAS practices to a whole program assessment. A mature BAS program is not defined by the age of its technology. It is defined by evidence, ownership, consistent decisions, controlled processes, recovery capability, and continuous improvement. The goal is to assess current maturity honestly and build a practical roadmap that matches the building mission and risk. A maturity model matters because BAS leaders are often asked whether the system is modern, secure, reliable, or high-performing. The answer cannot come from software version alone. Maturity evaluates how consistently the program performs across governance, architecture, documentation, operations, maintenance, cybersecurity, data, projects, people, and strategy. It creates a shared language for deciding where improvement should begin. The model uses 5 levels. Level 1 is reactive, emergencies and individual knowledge dominate. Level 2 is managed, basic ownership and recurring processes exist. Level 3 is standardized. Standards, baselines, roles, and evidence are consistently applied. Level 4 is predictive, condition, history, and risk drive prevention. Level 5 is adaptive, governed optimization and learning extend capable human judgment. The sequence matters. Stabilize before standardizing, standardize before predicting, govern before automating. Level 1 is reactive. Work is dominated by emergencies and individual knowledge. You may see incomplete inventory, shared accounts, uncontrolled overrides, alarm overload, weak BAS maintenance, vendor dependence, inconsistent backups, and decisions based on urgency rather than evidence. The leadership response is not to blame the team. The correct response is to identify the system gaps that force good people into emergency behavior. Level 2 is managed. Basic ownership and recurring processes exist, but consistency may still vary. Level 3 is standardized. Standards, baselines, roles, evidence, change control, backups, KPIs, risk registers, training, and cross-coverage become repeatable. Level 3 is a major milestone because the program is no longer dependent only on memory or heroics. Levels 4 and 5 are powerful, but they depend on foundations. Level 4 is predictive. The program uses trends, analytics, condition, risk, criticality, and incident patterns to act before failure. Level 5 is adaptive. The program continuously optimizes within approved boundaries and uses technology to extend human judgment. Level 5 does not mean full autonomy. It requires human approval, monitoring, transparency, override capability, and safe fallback. The model assesses 10 dimensions: mission and governance, architecture and asset knowledge, documentation and configuration, operations and alarm management, maintenance and reliability, cybersecurity and access, data trends and analytics, projects and commissioning, people and capability, and strategy and business value. A program can be strong in one dimension and weak in another. The imbalance itself becomes a risk. Scoring must be based on evidence. For each dimension, score from 1 to 5 and record evidence, strengths, gaps, consequence, priority, required action, and owner. Use interviews, site walks, document review, incident history, system discovery, work orders, access review, backup testing, and project records. Do not average too quickly. Level 4 analytics with Level 1 data quality is not simply Level 2.5. The imbalance itself is risk. Higher maturity depends on foundational capability. Predictive analytics requires accurate sensors, consistent names, reliable timestamps, known equipment states, sufficient history, and accountable response processes. Adaptive optimization requires stable control, defined boundaries, valid models, safe fallback, human approval, and monitoring. Skipping foundations can create impressive demonstrations and disappointing operations. Balanced maturity means we do not try to maximize every dimension immediately. Target maturity must follow mission and risk. A low-risk building may be appropriately standardized at Level 3. A critical plant may need Level 4 predictive capability. The roadmap should establish the baseline, define target state, identify enablers, sequence work, define measurable outcomes, and be reviewed quarterly. The field scenario is advanced analytics with weak foundation. A facility purchased analytics that generated hundreds of faults. Operators lost confidence because equipment names differed between BAS and CMMS. Sensors were inaccurate, and the software did not recognize maintenance or shutdown modes. The facility paused expansion and corrected asset mapping, sensor quality, mode logic, and response ownership. The analytics were not the original failure. The program tried to reach Level 4 capability on Level 1 and Level 2 foundations. For the practical exercise, learners will score a current or hypothetical BAS program across 10 dimensions. For each dimension, they will list evidence, strength, risk, and next action. Then they will choose the 3 foundational improvements that would enable the greatest progress. Close with the principle, stabilize before standardizing, standardize before predicting, and govern before automating.